All right.
We in?
Yeah.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody, or whenever you're listening to this.
Monday.
Welcome to the Cat and Cloud podcast. It's me, Chris Bacas, and Chuck today.
Howdy.
Jared's out, and this is what's up. We're here.
Yeah.
It's so nice right now. I got the sun tickling my skin.
One of those cool fall days.
On a cool fall day, crisp in the morning. Yeah.
I know.
It's a good hang.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck's got his notepad up. He's got big ideas going on.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like this time of year as we kind of get into mid-October, later October, early November. I start thinking about, and I have probably for, it's like since owning a business or even being a part of other businesses, on the business side, there's always this time of year of like thinking of the year ahead, thinking of next year's goals. For me on the financial side, it's thinking of what next year's financial forecast and things look like. But there's another direction we can take it too as well. And maybe I've been doing this for as long or longer than I have on the business side, is to think about it like in our personal lives.
Right.
Like, and think about, and actually, set aside the time to, put in a calendar, make a little meeting for yourself, set aside the time, whether you're at home or wherever, go for a walk, like set aside the time and take the intention to like think about the year ahead and what are the like the dreams you have, what are, can you turn those dreams into goals that like help you get there step by step. So that's the kind of the time of year when it starts to creep into like getting close to Halloween and stuff like that. That's one of the things that I kind of start thinking about. So what do you think about that?
I love that idea. I would love to do that more intentionally. I feel like I've gotten in the habit of doing some version of that every year, but I don't think I've been very good at keeping the promises that I've made to myself.
Yeah.
And then I'm also, you guys have been doing this, you've been doing this longer than I have, and I suppose you never feel fully adjusted, but I'm still in some sort of adjustment period to having a toddler, which has changed things dramatically.
Yeah, definitely.
Mostly from the time standpoint. So, I mean, it was so easy a few years ago to burn the midnight oil or allocate a outsized amount of time to whatever personal projects I wanted to do or things that I wanted to accomplish. It was just easy.
Yeah.
And now it's just a little less flexible, so I have to get even more in the state that you're in, which is deliberate planning, making clear promises, and figuring out how to cash in on those.
Yeah, totally. Because like you said, it's like with a toddler, it's like even a little bit less predictable and things like that. And it's like, again, that's where I argue that just like finding some way to create the time and the intention is even more important when there's I
agree with you, 100% agree with you, and I think everybody can do it. It's not. I'm not making an excuse and say I can't do it. I don't have the time. I absolutely do. I do have the time. I just haven't made it a priority amongst everything else.
Totally.
So one of the things that comes to mind right when you say that is, how did you do for your goals this year?
Yeah.
Did you accomplish the things that you wanted to accomplish?
Well, and so this is really interesting. So it's like I pulled up what mine are, what I've been thinking about for this year. So let me go back and pull up what I was thinking about last year. And then this is, again, I feel like every time I'm on here I talk about this, but it is just because I kind of use it. It's like the structure that I kind of look at it within is the structure is kind of given to me in EO. Mm-hmm. So like Entrepreneurs Organization, it's like a nonprofit that is like a peer-to-peer support program for people that own businesses. So I always encourage everybody to check that out if you own a business. It's like, I think the website is like eonetwork.org. And it's a really great organization, and I've gone through a few iterations, and there's kind of like a tool that a lot of people in EO use, and I can kind of show you like the first page.
Life purpose and planning.
Yeah, and it's just you can break it down into like defining your core values, how those core values translate into relationships, your personal life and your professional life. And then kind of how that translates down into like your why purpose statement. So I will bare my soul here, and I can take you through what
Let's
mine
do
looks
it.
like.
I'm trying to find is that a, did you download that, or is there a URL?
I downloaded it, but maybe I've shared it with you guys in the past. I'm happy to send it to you.
You should send it to me. Yeah, that particular PDF does not look familiar. I know you've talked about this in the past, though, for sure.
Yeah. I'll send it to you after this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really, again, it's like something. Even somebody could create this, right? It's like core values, and so I'll kind of walk through it, and you can hit back. Like, I know you've got core values that are top of mind to you as well. So mine are like, cool, never stop learning. Like
Right.
That's a big part of who I am. I always want to learn more, and I've just always been really curious about how things work, how business works, how just how everything works is like a real big value of mine. And then be the best I can at what I do. Just in different aspects of life. It's like I want to be the best dad I can be.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the best CFO I can be. I want to be the best business owner I can be. If I'm working out, it's like I want to go to the gym and work out in the best way that I can. I have this gnawing achievement focus that I have had since a child. There can be a good side and a rough side of that coin.
Yeah.
I will say. But again, that's just one of the core values that I have. And then my other one is to make a positive impact in the world. And
that's cool. Yeah.
For me, it doesn't have to be like a huge grand impact. For me, it's like I see it often, whether it's making a positive impact through being a dad and
Right.
like how I raise my kids, or making a positive impact through the business that we have, and that we're having a positive impact on people's lives and helping them grow and creating a place where they can grow and develop,
Yeah, I would kind of challenge that a little bit and say that there really is no small impact. Like, those things don't sound small to me. And I think that's something that people get tricked into believing, that it's like you have to make these things, you have to make these gestures that feel earth-shattering for them to be important. But in the whole scheme of things, we're all interacting person to person. We're experiencing life as an individual, and a lot of that has to do with how we interact with other individuals. And I'm very thankful for people who create things that enrich my life in some way.
Yep.
And a lot of those things, for me personally, aren't gigantic or huge. So a coffee shop is a really good example of that thing. So if I live somewhere with an awesome coffee shop right around the corner from my house or in my neighborhood, that impacts my life so much more than some big, huge entrepreneur or organization that's doing something that I just don't connect with. Like, this is a measurable improvement in my life. So that's how I like to think about Cat and Cloud. I'm like, you're psyched if you got Cat and Cloud around the corner.
Yeah.
You're pumped. And that's not a small thing, because those touch points are daily. People build their lives around these things, and it's just huge. So all those things you talk about, like, being an awesome father, being awesome at your craft, like those are incredible contributions.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, even it's like just things that happen in the course of our business. Like, it's like we've had, like Genesis that recently moved on from being the team leader at our Swift Cafe. And it's like, did we miss the heck out of her?
Mm-hmm.
But, she came as a barista, right? She'd been here for like 6 years. She had been managing the Swift Cafe for maybe like between maybe a year and 2 years. And then she had the opportunity to go be hired as like the head of hospitality for a whole nother entity. And that's awesome. Like, an entity related to like what she went to school for and everything. And it's like, to me, I'm so stoked, and it makes me so happy that we were here to provide, the structure and the platform for her to grow. She did all the work,
Right.
I didn't have anything to do with that. She did all the work, but it's like, I feel super grateful, and I feel super inspired and motivated to be part of a company where somebody can come in as a barista and have that growth journey, I think, professionally and personally, and then create graduate, be promoted into this other job. And you know, we're not able to provide those higher level things for everyone, but like she was able to take what she did here and use it to move her life in a positive direction. And that, like, I feel like that is us making a positive impact in the world.
I mean, it absolutely is. It's huge. And I think, you know, that's how, again, I already said this, but that's how most of us experience life. You know, we experience life as individuals. So it's, if you're creating something that affects an individual's life in a positive way, because everyone's going on a journey, right? And there's a million ways to get to where you want to go. And as individuals, we all make choices. Okay, I want to engage with this. I don't want to engage with that. This feels good to me. That doesn't feel good to me. And we're going down these paths. And then work is interesting because there's a lot of ways that you can view work. You can view work as it's a necessary evil, where I have to eat, I have to pay rent, I have to live, so I'm forced into this work environment. And that's true, you know. There are realities to living. We have to make some sort of money to sustain some sort of life. But then there's another way to look at it, which ties really neatly into what you're talking about, which is, okay, work is an opportunity for me to learn, grow, become better, and participate in a culture that I resonate with.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the employee end of things, or if you're entering into the workforce, one of the things that you can do to move your career forward or pursue your goals is to make educated decisions on where you want to work.
Yeah.
And I know that it sounds basic, but it's absolutely true. And I don't buy into this thought that, you know, we don't have any choice on where we want to work. We absolutely do. You know, if I look at our staff as a test case, these people could get jobs many other places.
Definitely.
They're all super sharp, very capable. They could probably work wherever they wanted to, in that, you know, noting that, okay, a lot of us are in this entry level position. You know, you're a person of a certain age, you're just coming into the workforce. Yes, you're not going to be CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, right? You're starting from somewhere. But finding a place to work that helps you in the ways that you want to grow is critical. And I don't think there's anything wrong with switching that up if you find you're going down a road and you're like, yeah, this isn't really what I need or what I want, or I'm not learning or I'm not growing. You know, you've got your checklist. If all of these things aren't true in your life, then you're doing something wrong, or you need to make a change.
Yeah,
right?
There's a great like Steve Jobs quote about that, where it's like, if you go to work every day for like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 days, and it's like, and you're not enjoying what you're doing, you should change it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, that's where even, you know, it's like, we're talking about doing this at our age, but it's like starting this process when you're in your early 20s, right? And that could be part of this process is like, where do I want to work? What do I want to do? What kind of, what are my core values, like as a 21-year-old, as a 22-year-old, as a 23-year-old?
Right. And the cool thing about the values, especially the way you have them laid out, is every once in a while, we'll probably have a job that we don't absolutely love or we're a little frustrated with. But if you have this set of values, you can put those to work even in a less than stellar situation.
Definitely.
So if you wanted to, you know, get better every day or learn something every day or be the best that you can be at your craft, you can do those things in a suboptimal situation and ride it out for however long while you figure out where you ultimately want to be.
At a Napa Auto Parts warehouse, my first
Yeah?
job, it was pulling parts, right? But
No
it was
way.
like, dude, even there, it's like, that wasn't what I wanted to do when I grew up. But, you know, it's like, even there, I was like, whoa, there's all, and didn't grow up as like a car guy or anything, but I was just pulling all these parts, right? It's like gaskets and like all the different stuff. And I was just like, I was just so curious about like, what are all these parts?
Yeah,
for?
what's happening here?
Like an engine, you know? So it's like, yeah, even if it's not exactly where you want to be, it's like still engage with your values on a daily basis. And I think make it the best it can be.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. So
so that's the first part. So, I mean, do you have any core values that you...
So my values break out into buckets. They're less immediately actionable than yours.
Yeah.
So I have these areas of life where I want them to be awesome. So first up at the top is family and friends. And that's a wrapper. and family comes before everything. And there's a lot of things wrapped into that but the biggest thing is I want to create time and space to enjoy my family and engage with the people that I've chosen to build a life with.
Yeah.
And most immediately, that's my wife and my daughter. But it's interesting as I've, become a parent, I find myself wanting to spend more time with more of my other relatives too.
Interesting.
So there's something about it that's made me want to spend more time with my brother and spend more time with my mom and spend more time with our cousins and that whole group of people.
Yeah.
And none of those people live really where we live. We're the only people in Santa Cruz. So our closest relatives are a couple hours away. So it's feasible. But that's this big bubble. Then there's another bubble that I have that is fitness and health, which is really important to me. If I'm not doing things to keep me active, I'm just very, very bummed and depressed, and my life gets noticeably worse.
Resonate with that.
Right. Creative expression is another one. I love projects that I feel like I can use to express the little voice that I have inside of me. And sometimes those take the form of writing. I wrote that little tiny book a while back. Sometimes they take the form of creating videos. Sometimes it takes the form of, it can take a lot of different forms.
It's the genius of the little ratatouille rat that's on the
right.
top of your head.
And one of the things that I find is if I go too long without intentionally channeling or listening to that little voice, it kind of has the same effect as not exercising.
Yeah.
Where I just start to feel like something's missing or something's not right. And I think everybody has something special to share. That's one of my fundamental core beliefs, is that we all have gifts to share, and that life is better when we share those, both for ourselves and the people around us, because we get something out of sharing them, but also there's someone out there who wants to know what you know. And it's easy for you, the person who knows it, the person who lives with it, to take it for granted as like, oh yeah, I don't know, like I just this thing that I have, or nobody really cares about this art that I'm creating or what I have to say. But I found that that's not true. And then I'll go even further back to our conversation and say that for something to be valuable, let's say you love making films and you make these short films. It's so easy now to measure things by metrics and say, oh, if I have this YouTube channel or if I'm putting these films out, it only counts if hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people watch it. And again, I'll say that's absolutely not true. So I've got these buckets that I break everything down in. And then what I'll do is every year look at each bucket and say, what is my goal for the year within that bucket? Because I know these are the top priorities in my life. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Family. What do I want to do with my family this year to be a better dad, better husband? What's going to bring me joy? What can we do? And then the same thing with, fitness and health, where this one usually turns into some sort of skill acquisition thing. So I work out on a regular basis no matter what. So that's, that's maintained, but I'm just like, so like one of the things that I want to do this next year is I want to do a chin up with 100 pounds strapped to myself. Whoa. So I was working up to that like several years ago and then had a slew of injuries. I think I got to 95 point something. I was using fractional plates and everything just for one rep. And it's like, I just want to do it.
Yeah. Totally.
It's just, which isn't crazy for people who do that kind of stuff, but it would be so cool. I see people doing one arm chin ups and I'm just like, that would be so sick.
That's crazy.
And that to me makes exercise fun. There's some part of it that's functional, but then working on a skill is pretty cool. And then, the creative expression will take different forms at different times. Like a couple of years ago, we were working on a skate video, made a skate video with my old mini DV camera with all the boys that I skate with on the weekends, and we've shot for a year, stacked clips, and it wasn't much, but we edited this thing down and it's probably like 5 or 6 minutes.
That's so awesome.
Put it on YouTube on a channel that nobody looks at. It's just a hidden
Yeah.
channel, and it's just for the guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just for the crew. So I love doing little things like that. I don't have anything slated super specific for next year.
Yeah. Hey, now's the time.
I know, you're
That
right.
sounds awesome. Yeah, so it's like, kind of as I look at like the structure that I use, it's kind of like, that's the first part of, right, kind of spending the time to decide what your core values are, because that can kind of lead and help you make decisions into how it manifests in other parts of your life, right? And so then from there, it's like kind of look into like these 3 buckets, which are like, cool, how do your core values manifest in relationships?
Right.
How do they manifest in your personal life? And how do they manifest in your professional life? So kind of going in for kind of me going through this sheet, it's and so maybe relationships are broken down into like personal and professional as I look through the sheet. So for me on the personal side, it's not about accomplishing anything, kind of like, and as by the end of my life, some people have like, by the end of my life, I want to do this thing or that thing. But like, to me, I want like current, continuous relationships with people who share my passion, share the passions that I have in life. And I want to experience life alongside these people, like the highs and the lows together. So, I mean, I guess you could probably boil that down into like some kind of like community.
Right.
Which I think is nothing, I don't think that's anything wild or crazy idea, given we're all kind of like social animals to a certain extent.
But it's important to note, because I mean, a lot of these things feel or could seem basic, but we all know how life is. Life, if you don't plan for it, can feel very hectic. It can feel very overwhelming. You can feel busy. It's like I could easily go a month, if I'm not intentional about it, without talking to any of my friends.
Yeah.
And developing these personal relationships, and then you don't notice it, but so it's worth stating for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate your insight on that. Yeah, because it is for me about like seeking out and being intentional about making sure I create the time, because it's kind of like I just recognize with that myself. I need to be kind of around people, right? It's like an extrovert in that way, that like I get energy from people, right? I'm not like the loudest person, right? It's like, that's an interesting conversation about like introversion, extroversion. Like the definition of extroversion isn't like the loudest person at the party who's like schmoozing and doing everything. It's just, do you get energy from being around people?
Right.
And introversion is just, you just get energy from being by yourself, and that it's taxing to be around other people, right? So for me, it's like I definitely get energy from being around other people. And so just recognizing that, it's how can I intentionally create those rhythms in my life where I'm putting myself in those situations on like a regular basis.
How do you do that with that group? So that's your friend group, let's say, personal relationships.
Yeah, and man, mine's tough, and it's not ideal. It's like I definitely know people where it's like they've got their best friends live down the street from them, or even they've got this huge friend group in town. It's like, it's been really interesting experience spending the last like 15 years or so in Santa Cruz, to where a lot of people that came into town or developed friendships with people. And Santa Cruz it's a really hard place. It's a really expensive place to live. And we found that like with friends that I've had, or friends that me and my wife have had, like most of our friends that we started to make, like once they reached a certain age or realized they couldn't do what they wanted to do and maintain a livelihood in Santa Cruz, or they wanted to start a family and their parents lived somewhere else, or they just realized it was just cheaper for them to be able to own a house, or that they're never going to own a house here. Side note, neither of us own a house.
Yep.
Right, that they wanted to own a house, and that was important for them. So my best friends live in Oklahoma, they live in Missouri, they live in Florida, they live in like my best friends don't actually live in Santa Cruz. And so part of that community is that I try to always have a trip on the calendar with with them. So yeah, I'm including my brother in that group. Like we always try to have a trip each year with my brother that lives in Florida and his family. My friend that lives in Oklahoma, it's like cool. We always try to have a trip. My friend that lives in St. Louis, it's like cool. We just always try to have a trip on the calendar where we're meeting up somewhere or one of us is visiting the other person. And so that's kind of what I've done there. And then I do have it, it has been nice to, within that, develop friendships and a group of friends in town. And for that, we try to do like a monthly get together.
Oh, that's really cool.
At a minimum, so that at least if we're not getting together with each other, in between that, it's like we've got this like monthly meetup on the calendar to hang out and spend time and connect.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm in a similar situation in terms of those old super good friends, which nobody I grew up with lives around here.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Same thing with Jenny too. It's like her best friend's in Dallas or somewhere in the Central Valley. It's just far away, and it's really interesting. So one of the coolest things that's happened to me in the last few years on the friendship tip that's kind of charged me up is Nick over at Beeline, who is a huge just drop-in friend, which was shocking at first because I haven't had that for a long time. So we live pretty close together. And then his wife's become good friends with Jenny, and then they also have kids. And now we're on this status where he's like, we're coming over for dinner, and it's like, awesome, let's go. There's no plans, nothing, and we'll figure it out. Like maybe we'll cook something, maybe we'll just order something like pizza, whatever. But it's been such a long time since I've had a friend that's just I'm right around the corner. We'll be there in 10. And I'm like, okay, cool. And that has got me almost back in that high school style rhythm, because that's what it felt like a long time ago, where you just kind of barge over to your friend's house. Maybe they're there, maybe they're not. It's not really a big deal. We don't need 38 text messages to figure out when exactly we're going to meet. Just stop by, and that's kind of opened it up. So I've been just like playing that game a little bit more and just reaching out to people casually with no expectation. Like, I'm going to the coffee shop. I'm going to be there in 15. I'll be there for an hour if you want to cruise by. No big deal, right? And just making the time to just send those little blasts out and like see what's up. And like this last weekend too, I'd met some dude, Mike, who's into some of the same cars that I'm into.
That's cool.
He lives over the hill but works in Santa Cruz, and we ended up just connecting and just texting like, hey, going to Morning Motors. The DWA puts on this weekend. Going to be there. Yeah, cool. You want to get coffee ahead of time? We'll see. And just mixing it up and just throwing it out there. So it's been kind of fun.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. I'm psyched.
I like that.
Don't let me distract from your planning though. we got Chuck's personal plans.
Oh no, just as we like moving on, and right where the other side is, right, there's obviously how your values like integrate into the personal side, but also how they then integrate into the professional side. And let me see, it's all in very small writing. So, but on this side, it's like, so this is actually the same as my personal answer, just acted on during business hours. It's like I would hope that people I interact with would say that I helped, found an organization that took care of people and had a positive impact in the world and in their lives in some way. So again, it's kind of, for me, it's like a similar manifestation both ways. It's both focused on people.
Right. In just different scenarios.
Yeah, just in the different scenarios.
And that would totally make sense because you are the same person in both scenarios, even though that maybe the social expectation might be a little different and you maneuver through it. There's some stuff that you say with your friends that you can never say at work, et cetera, et cetera. But you are still the same human being with the same core values.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. And so it's, totally like that. It would be, and maybe there are some people that feel like they can't be the same person inside work as outside work. And man, it's like, I just feel like the magic would be that you can be. Yeah. Is that you find a place where you can be, generally like bring your values to like your life in the same way.
And I think, right, exactly. Bringing the same values to life in different ways, maybe.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe that's it. So it's like when I'm skating on the weekends, there is a energy and excitement and enthusiasm that is channeled through skateboarding, talking copious amounts of shit. Like we rib each other, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know, and I get some enjoyment out of that, and then translate it into work. Those individual things that I do aren't the same.
Right.
But if I was just editing down a video that I took of our birthday, and Mark and I did the little birthday bar.
Yeah.
And that's a manifestation at work where making interesting espressos, we're doing roastery tours. It's just something outside of the norm.
You got some banter going
on. Yeah, you're just kind of expressing yourself in a different way.
Yeah.
And I like both of them are enjoyable in their own way, and they both feel like they are very much me, even though they're physically different activities in different places.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm getting a similar kind of enjoyment out of them.
So that's kind of, goes values, goes into like kind of personal, professional relationships. And then it's all kind of tied together. It kind of gets you to like your why, like your purpose statement. Like why you do the things that you do. And if you can wrap it up into like a nice, cute little bow-tied sentence, like this, it's like, mine is to create a supportive environment for myself and others to have new and different positive experiences. So I think that's something, again, that brought like me, you, and Jared together in the very beginning, is that we both, or all three of us, enjoy like new, and we're like experienced people. Right. We enjoy like really good experiences. And for me, it's like I enjoy different experiences. A lot of it manifested like when I was younger, like a lot of my intentions when I'd sit down would be around like traveling, right? Like I want to like save enough money to go, to this place, to go backpack around, Europe, or to go visit, Thailand or something, it's like, I really enjoyed those experiences and the perspectives of people that lived in different parts of the world. Like that was something. And, maybe I'm not, well, I mean, through work, I have got to travel to a lot of places as the green buyer. But for a coffee company, it's a great way to, continue to live out those new and different experiences. But as that has been passed on to Dulce, right, it's like I'm not doing as much traveling anymore. It's a lot of them are like new and different experiences, like with my kids. For whatever age they're at, it's like, what are the things that can kind of only be done with your kids when they're at a certain age, is kind of like how I'll think about stuff, or experiences with friends, because we are kind of having friends in different states and stuff. We are meeting up in different places. So what are the experiences that we can do when we're together?
Yeah. And that's a little bit of that die with zero mentality I hear you talking about here, which is, if I had to distill it down, it's that there's certain things you can only do at certain times in your life, or that are much easier to do at certain times in your life.
Yeah.
I.e., I'm not going to be able to skate the way I skate right now in 20 years. It's probably not going to be happening. I will be able to in some capacity, but it's unlikely that I'll be going at the same level. And then, take that even further. So it makes more sense if that's something that you really love to do it now. And I see that a lot with the kid too. Every era that you're in is its own unique, special adventure, and then it's just gone forever, which is pretty wild. And it makes sense to take advantage of those things that you can do. It's like, I'm just getting all the snuggles I can.
Yeah.
Because I know when I got an 18-year-old, she's not going to want to snuggle. She's, Dad, what is this?
That's weird.
Like, what is wrong with you?
I wasn't snuggled by, snuggled by parents at 18 years old.
Forget about this.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, right? And it's even the same at work. It's like, it's about creating a supportive environment, to have like positive experiences, right? So it's like, that's something that I focus on at work, right? How can I create supportive environments for, like people I work with, like Michael that I work with in the finance, or Dulce that I work with in green coffee. Like, we have our monthly one-on-ones with Dulce, and with Michael, it's a bit, it's not every month, but in those meetings, it's cool. What are the things? How can I create a supportive environment so that we're, growing and learning and, and creating like a work environment that they want to be a part of. So it's like, I really enjoy kind of like creating those environments, and then having those experiences are kind of the whys of why I do what I do, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's the first page. We didn't even get to the second page.
Oh, that's
of
first
what
page.
we were talking about, right? Because it's right. The second page is then kind of like cool, looking at the year ahead. You know, how do these things, you know, translate into like the intentions that you have for like the year
Back
ahead.
to my first question. Did you hit your goals for this year? I mean, I know you got a couple months left.
All right,
It is end of October, basically.
Yeah.
Where are you at on your current goals, Chuck?
Yeah, so my main ones, it is interesting looking at last year, were about creating impactful family moments. Were like my intentions around there, around doing like a monthly date night with my wife. I'm really big on kind of like one-on-one experiences with my two kids. So it's like, with my older daughter, are we able to like have one-on-one experiences together? You know, my younger daughter, as she's getting there, it's like we're starting to get into that zone. So those were some of my intentions. And then I had on here like the family vacation with my brother. That's something that we've been trying to get on track for a few years. So that one I feel like was thumbs up. And then my other one was
Well, you did the family vacation with your brother?
yeah, we did.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to Arizona. Went
nice.
to Phoenix.
Yeah, that's been on our list too. My brother and I have been talking about that for about a year and a half, but we haven't put pen to paper and be like, we are going here at this point. Some guy just told me next door, a guest, he comes in, he's been coming in since day one. He's gone to Japan a couple times.
I want to go.
Yeah, that's what I said. And he said, every day you don't book your ticket is another day that it's just not happening.
You're not gonna go.
I said, yes,
that
sir.
That is true,
Yep.
but I also, gotta create that experience. And then the other one is my. I really only had two. I said, I wasn't looking for too much last year. But my other one was around friend relationships, and it was the stuff that I talked about now, about like creating those trips to meet up with friends, or even in town. We have a great group. It's like you said, with skateboarding stuff that you do now. It's like, for me, that kind of like higher impact thing that mostly younger people do is playing basketball.
Yep.
To where it's like, I know I won't be able to play basketball forever. But we've got a great group of guys that all play basketball, and then from that, it's like there's friendships that have developed from that. And so, those were kind of, in terms of like, I don't know, like, I don't know if you say cultivate, or like, put an intention and emphasis on like, spending time with those friends and those friend groups. That was another one for me. So mine were, I probably could have more than two, but looking back at what I actually put on paper, it was really around friends and family last year.
Yeah. And then this year, you're currently building those goals, or you
currently,
already have them?
I haven't done it yet.
When are they due by? It makes me want to do it myself, is why I ask.
Yeah, I mean, I generally try to do it by the end of the year, but it's like I start it now because, again, it does take, setting the time, finding some time, setting it aside. And I think for me, it's like those first two will be on it again, right? It's like they may be on it every year,
right?
About like, cool, every year I want to have like impactful family moments with our family, my wife. I want to have one-on-one time with my wife, with each of my kids. Like I want, I want those experiences and that time together. The friendships. It's like I want to spend time on those, and they are things that, just when you're busy and there's chaos in life, it's like sometimes those things can slip a little bit. So it's like if they're on this list, then I know whenever maybe I do like a quarterly kind of check-in.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are you reading these every day in the morning?
Oh, that'd be a good one. I like that idea. But I probably kind of check in like quarterly, probably. It's like, oh yeah, how am I doing versus what I wanted to do when I sat down and when I actually spent the time and sat down and thought about it. Like,
right.
And then you get into everyday life. Like, how am I doing of like slowing down, taking time to set the intentions in my day-to-day to set the time aside to do these things. So it's like I feel like those will be the base, and then it'll be are there other things on top of that?
I like it, dude. This is inspiring right now. Seriously, I want to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Send me that, yeah, because it really helps to have it spelled out, because it's just so easy to get lost and do what you did yesterday.
Yeah. If anybody else wants it, I'm happy to. If you reach out,
We'll just put
to info at or something, I'm happy to. Or
maybe
we
there's a link we could put.
Yeah, we just put it
a
on
link to it. Yeah.
Or in the
make it
podcast
available for
notes.
download.
Yeah, because it's just a template.
Yeah.
Dude, the more
as well
people
get
that
some
use
goals.
it, I think that'd be awesome.
You got something you want to do, or you're not where you want to be? Let's get
You
there,
said I could
dude.
create a supportive environment for
Let's do
people to
this.
have new and
you
different
are
experiences.
living your mission right now, player. This is sick.
Hey everyone, that's the podcast for the week. Thanks so much for listening. If you heard something that inspired you, or if you heard something that gave you more questions than answers, send us an email to podcast@catandcloud.com. And if you're looking to know more about us, then head to our website at catandcloud.com, where you can find everything we have to offer. A great place to start would be The Answer, our house coffee that's right for any occasion. Or the Best Friends Blend, a coffee that tastes just as good as the good it does by donating $1 per pound back to our partnering producers. Also, if you're feeling extra friendly, connect with us in the usual places, like YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere that's hip. All right, that's it. Thanks for being awesome, everyone, and we'll be back next week.